Welcome to Penny's Pantry. I'm Penny, and today we're going to do 3 different recipes. We're going to do a quinoa salad, roasted carrots and onions, and cabbage steaks. Stay tuned. Okay, we're going to get the quinoa started, and I took 1 cup of quinoa, and I'm going to take 2 cups of water. That's super easy, and we're going to throw it on the stove, and we're going to get it cooking. So hold on. Okay, while that's cooking, I'm going to make my dressing. And what I did is I took some balsamic vinegar, about 2 tablespoons worth. I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons worth of Dijon mustard. I'm going to do some olive oil, of course, about a tablespoon. We're going to do some salt and some fresh cracked pepper. And then I have here some garlic powder and onion powder, about a teaspoon of each. And we're just gonna mix that up. And then you see I have a bowl of chickpeas here, right? So the chickpeas are gonna go in the quinoa salad, but while we're waiting for the quinoa to cook and then cool, I'm gonna kind of marinate the chickpeas with the dressing. So we're just gonna pour it over. Okay, and give it a quick toss. All right, and then we can get the vegetables prepped and ready to go also while we're waiting. So let's get that going. Okay, I just washed the celery. It was very dirty, which is a good thing. That means it was grown in the dirt. And we have our celery. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna do our onion. Let me get a bowl. And we're just gonna chop everything up. So I like to use as much as I can with the celery. So I just cut off the little pieces that, you know, just hang out or whatever. And then we're gonna cut this pretty small because we want it to fit in the perfect bite, which is with the quinoa and the other vegetables. So we want this a little on the smaller side. Think of putting it on a spoon with everything else. Okay. And we're just gonna put this all in the bowl to get ready for the quinoa once it's cooked. Watch your fingers, don't cut them. I was really saying that to myself. All right, so we just cut up the celery, and we're gonna cut up the onion now. So while I'm getting the onion prepped, I just wanna share with you. So some of you may be like, you know, I'm not a trained chef and I can't really do this on my own and whatever. And let me tell you something, I'm not a trained chef either. I'm a mom that knows how to cook, that has spent time with her great aunt and her grandmother and her own mother. And that's how I learned how to cook. So I'm just bringing to you what I've learned over the years. So if I could do it, you could do it. I'm telling you, it's not hard. It's not intimidating to start your own cooking and, oh, hang on. So once the quinoa comes to boil, you wanna make sure that heat is on low so it doesn't boil, it just is gonna simmer. Okay, so onion. Here's a trick of the trade. When you are cutting your onion, you don't want to cut open the root part, okay? If you want to cut it in half like I did, just put the root part on the side where you're going to end cooking, and you want to put this down because this is where all the onion smell comes from, which makes you cry. So if you keep it down, it's not going to effervesce into your face. I'm just peeling off the outer layer of the onion to where it looks good. Because there's blemishes, it's a root. So there's of course blemishes, and if there's no blemishes, it probably wasn't grown in the ground. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut it into segments like this, okay? Again, we wanna cut it small so it fits into the perfect bite. And then we're gonna chop it this way. Watch your fingers. And then when it gets down to the root, you could try to get as close to the root as possible, or you could just trash it. Okay. I'm going to do the other side. Now these are Vidalia sweet onions, which I like to use. You can use a red onion. That's a really beautiful onion, especially in a salad like this. I just didn't have any, but the sweet is a great flavor in my opinion. You can also use a yellow onion if you like more of a bite. Or you could bypass the onion if you don't like onion. But if you don't like onion, I don't know, maybe you need to reevaluate a little bit, but I'm just kidding. Okay. I have a friend that doesn't like onion. I just always make fun of her because onion makes everything taste good. Okay, here you go. Now I have these grape tomatoes and we're just gonna cut these in half. That's it, just like that, easy. Give a glance to the quinoa. Nothing's boiling over. That's a good sign. Okay. This is a great salad to keep on hand for the week. You can double it if you want to. So you have it all week long when you're going to work or school or whatever you do. This is a great go-to when you're coming home and exhausted and starving and you don't want to eat junk food. This is really good because you're eating it cold and it's super easy to keep for the week. And then we're going to do a half of an English cucumber. Now this is one of those vegetables that you may or may not want to add to the dish if you're going to keep it for the week. I would suggest having it on the side and adding it as you eat it, along with the tomatoes too, because after a couple of days of them sitting together, they might get a little mushy. But if you're going to eat it all in the same day or serve it to friends, do it all together at the same time. A couple of days would be fine anyway, but if you're going to keep it all week, I would keep out the wetter vegetables and add them in. I'm making a mess over here. Okay. All right, we're going to cut it lengthwise and then we're going to quarter it. Okay. Oh, this one's a little big, so let's do that again. Remember, we're doing the perfect bite. And the reason why I like the English cucumber is because it's not very seedy. Pickling cucumbers, when they're in season, that would be the best. All right. Just the final chop. Remember, we're keeping the chickpeas marinating while the quinoa is cooking. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some green olives. These are not the Spanish olives, just so you know. These are plain green olives, which was a new find for me this year, and I love these. They are not very salty like the Spanish olives are. They don't have a filling. It's literally from the olive grove to the jar. And I'm just cutting these in half. But this has a really great flavor. Now here you can also add pepperoncinis, the little spicy peppers if you want. I'm not going to add those, but if you would like to, that is another add-on that you can do. And I'm not doing that many olives, just a few, just for some flavor. All right, and now we're just gonna wait for the quinoa and then we're gonna bring this all together. Okay, I just took it out of the saucepan. And the reason why I know it's done is because all the water is gone. Now we're gonna throw this in the refrigerator for a little while so it cools. Okay, now we're gonna make roasted carrots and onions. And this is one of these recipes that, again, is such a good staple to have for the week. This is a great side dish for anything that you make, or a great snack, or even a great lunch or dinner if you like to eat vegetarian. And I do eat more vegetarian than not, and this is one of my favorite because it actually has a little sweetness to it. So I'm just peeling my carrots. Now, find local carrots if possible. I always tell people, know your farmer, know where your vegetables are coming from. If you live in an area that has farmers that grow all year round or have farm stands, use those. First of all, we're supporting local entrepreneurs and farmers, which is very important. The other part is knowing where your vegetables come from is important also, and knowing what kind of nutrients are in the soil and what they use for pesticides, if any. So know your farmer, know where your veggies are coming from, and always shop local. All right, that's my plug for the day. Now here, I'm just peeling, and you don't have to peel, you could just wash really well, but I'm just peeling because I like it. All right. And I really like to use the big carrots. Those baby carrots, I have opinions about those. I don't like the baby carrots because of how they process those and get them baby looking and clean. Again, know where your food is coming from and what they do to it. So I like the full-size carrots, and it may take a few extra steps and a few extra minutes, but it's cleaner and they actually taste better. Okay. And when you see the root, or this isn't really the root, this is the root, but when you see the little green coming off the top, you know you have a good carrot. When it's too clean, whatever, maybe a little sus. Okay. So I'm just cutting off the ends. And what we're gonna do, now carrots are gonna cook slower than onions. So we wanna make sure the carrots are almost the same size. Now obviously we can't because they taper off, but we wanna keep the bigger ends to a smaller chunk and then the smaller ends to a bigger chunk. They're not gonna be perfect, but you want them to cook pretty much at the same pace. And then like some really big pieces, you can even cut in half if you want, just to make sure we don't overcook everything else waiting for the big ones. Okay. Now that was 5 nice sized carrots. You can do more, you can do less, whatever. And now I have 5 smaller sweet onions. And if you remember what I told you is what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut this and put this face down after we trim off the outside. We want to clean up the onion. And then what we're going to do is this is all we're going to do. Ready? Half and cut off the sides. So you're doing 1/4 of an onion. That's it. Because roasted onion is it's one of those vegetables that I think just tastes awesome once it's roasted. I like it for the bite when it's raw, but it's kind of like almost sweet when you roast it. And it's okay if they separate, they will in the oven anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This is one of those recipes that has a lot of heart health benefits and other health benefits. Carrots by themselves, onions by themselves, but when you add the two together, it's good stuff. Now, I just want you to know, this is now my 5th onion, and I don't have tears. I'm just saying, keep the onions face down. Okay, 5 onions, 5 to 6 carrots. And now we're gonna get it ready for the oven. We have the oven set at 425. We're gonna do some olive oil, a generous amount of olive oil. Some salt. I have some Mediterranean sea salt, some fresh black pepper, and that's it. We're gonna put it in the oven, 425 and we're not gonna cover it. And it's gonna be about 45 minutes until the carrots are fork tender. Okay. Okay, so while the carrots and the onions are roasting, I'm gonna get the next recipe going. So this is going to be cabbage steaks. Now, if you're like my husband, who's the meat eater, who's like, that's not steak. Well, it is, because that's what I'm calling it. So I took the outer layer of the cabbage off, the gross part, and I just put it face down where it's flat. And this is a pretty big head of cabbage. I'm just gonna cut it in half to make it a little easier to work with because it's so big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it face down, flat edge down, and I'm gonna cut off the end because, you know, it's kind of just worn away. So we're just gonna cut it off, and we're gonna try to cut out the little hard part there, the core. And now we're just gonna cut it into steaks like this. All right, just like that. So I have my sheet pan and I have parchment paper. So I'm just gonna lay the cabbage out like that. Be careful, you don't really want it to fall apart as you're doing it. Now it might happen, but try not to. And they're about, I don't know, this thick. I don't know what that is. I'm so bad at guessing. Maybe about an inch and a half. And you could do it thinner or wider if you like, but I think this is a good amount. And then this end, this is gonna be an awkward end, so there is gonna be a little discard. I'm just cutting off a smidge just so it can lay flat. Okay, just try to keep it intact as much as possible. Now this you could save for a different recipe. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so we're just gonna cut off the end. Cut out the core. This is another one of those recipes to keep on hand. You're not going to want to eat the whole thing in one sitting. You just don't. But one or two of them in one sitting might be a good thing. And this is another great dish to take with you to work and heat up and make all your coworkers angry at you because of the smell of cabbage, or you can wait until you come home. This is a great side dish, a great main dish, a great snack, whatever you want. Okay, that was super easy, right? Okay, so now we're gonna dress it. We're gonna take about 2 or more tablespoons, maybe about 3 tablespoons of Dijon. We're gonna take about a 1/4 cup of mayo. We're gonna do some salt, some fresh pepper, and of course some olive oil. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, I moved this too quick. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get some garlic in there too, some fresh garlic. So I'm just gonna do maybe 4 nice cloves of garlic, not the little ones, just the really nice size one. Smash it down. All right, now once it's all peeled, we're just gonna chop it up. I don't want the skin in there. Okay, we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna almost mince it because we want that flavor to be drawn throughout the whole dressing. And one more quick chop. Get any big pieces. Okay, let me give my hands a quick rinse. That garlic gets sticky. Okay, now I have a mini whisk. I'm just gonna whisk all this up together. And it's kind of making like a paste-like consistency. And that's basically what you want. Okay, oh, the flavor smells so good. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna baste it on the steaks here. I'm gonna drizzle real quick. I know we have olive oil in there, but we're gonna just do a little bit so it seeps down. Just a little extra. And that way it'll just go all the way down into it. And then I have my little spatula here, and I'm just gonna put some on each steak. Okay. And you could put more or less on each if you want. You could make more or less of the dressing if you want. If you feel like it's not enough, feel free to add more. I think that this is the perfect amount because all those flavors are going to come together once they're baked. I have a little mini spatula to get the last bit out. Nothing goes to waste except the ends of the cabbage. Okay. It's gonna go in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. And then we're gonna take out our cooled quinoa and we're gonna finish that salad. So the quinoa's been sitting in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes or so. It is cool. I would consider it room temperature. It has a little bit of warmth to it still, but it's good that it's warm. You don't want it hot, but a little warmth is actually good because then it actually will hold those flavors together a little bit. So I'm gonna put a little extra olive oil just on the quinoa so it's not sticky. And then I'm gonna add the marinated chickpeas. Remember, that has the dressing in it, so we wanna pull as much of that dressing out. Okay, and then we're just gonna add the veggies. All those veggies that we cut up before, all going in the bowl. This is easy. This is not a difficult thing to do. And it's super good and so healthy. Quinoa is one of those super food grains that you want to add to your diet. And, and the vegetables all carry their own health benefits. And then you add olive oil and olives and all the good stuff. Okay, here we go. This is it. And it's, see how I just want to show you. See how the chickpeas actually are clean now? Because it took the dressing off. So some of the dressing seeped in. You could kind of see it in the veins. I know it's not a really good close-up, but it's kind of in the veins of the chickpeas. So you know the flavor's in there, but it's also throughout the salad. Now you could add a little bit extra salt and pepper to this if you choose to. And normally when I come home, if there's no cabbage steaks or no roasted carrots and onion, I'll grab this right from the bowl, take a few bites, get me through to dinner. And there you go. It's your quinoa salad. I hope you try this. I want you to go on my Facebook page, Penny's Pantry Food. You can message me or send me something that you tried these recipes. All the recipes that I post, you can always go on pennyspantryfood.com to get my social and my YouTube channel. But if you try any of the recipes, I would love to get some feedback from you. So now we're gonna wait for the roasted carrots to be done in a few minutes. And then we're gonna also get the cabbage sticks in a few minutes. Okay, so the roasted carrots and onions just came out of the oven. They're still sizzling, and so did the cabbage, and we'll get to that in a second. But this is just how they look. It's got some nice toastiness to the onions. The onions are pretty soft, and the carrots, I would say, are al dente, which is a little bit of a crunch, but not too much, but they're not mushy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stir it up. Okay, and we're just gonna give it a quick stir and plate them. Again, this is hot now, but you can eat these cold. I've done it 1,000 times. All right, maybe not 1,000 times, but 100 times, and they're really good. Very simple side dish, snack, even a full lunch if you want it. Okay, so now let's get the cabbage. Look how beautiful this looks. This is fabulous. It's got a little bit of a toast on the edges, which is great. That's why you're gonna bake it at a higher temperature, because that is gonna happen. Now, you could bake it at a lower temperature at like 300, 325, and it'll soften with more time, but it won't get that crispiness. And I like that. I like a little crunch sometimes. So this is how it looks. It smells amazing. And what I'm gonna do is I have a balsamic glaze. And what you can do is you could just do a little glaze over top. Look at how great that looks. I'm gonna put it on a plate. Get a spatula. Oop, it fell apart. I was trying not to. That's okay. It's still gonna taste great. And a little bit more glaze. And this will just give it a little bit more of a bite, but remember, it's got that Dijon, and that's gonna give it a bite. Look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? So what did we do today? We did some roasted carrots and onions. We did cabbage steaks, and we also did that quinoa salad. And these are all great recipes. You don't have to have them all in your recipe or in your refrigerator the same week, but these are all great recipes to keep in the back of your mind, and maybe do one a week so that you have something throughout the week and you don't have to do the same thing every week. Meal prep is very important, especially if you're trying to get healthy, lose weight. We're going into the new year. We want to all get a new way to do things, and eating right is the most important part. Is what goes in comes out. So you want to make sure that you're eating right and eating healthy and eating whole foods as much as possible. Cut out the processed stuff. This is the year we're cutting out the processed stuff, okay? We're gonna learn how to cook. We're gonna get back to the kitchen, get back to the basics, and we're gonna enjoy food again. All right, see you next time on Penny's Pantry.